Here. Yeah, stay here. Milady, can you use your microphone? Okay, I think she cannot use her microphone, but if you want to, you can participate through the chat. Well, in my case, hello again. My name is Diana. I don't think I have many storms, like big problems, but I think due dates and reports saying we have to do this now. Many things that have to be solved in the moment. But yes, I think just little problems. I'm very lucky. I usually don't have to deal with big storms, I guess. And or maybe I don't see the size of the storms, because I don't know, I discovered things with this book. I didn't like it, to be honest, but just because I didn't understand very well what was happening in some moments, because I don't know how to, like, drive or get or whatever, or manage a ship. Got no idea. So I wasn't understanding very well the role of each of the character in the ship, but I understood what was happening, like the disaster among all. So we are going to focus a little bit more on that, how to face storms. I don't know why I can't. Okay, the rules are always the same. This group is English flexible. If you need to use Spanish to add details, that's okay. Everyone's opinion counts, and meetings will begin promptly and end promptly. Like we usually stay no more than 4 p.m. And well, the last one doesn't matter right now because you're all at home. So if you want to leave your home in a messy way, that's okay. It's on you. Why I can So a little bit about the author. I really like this picture because it has colors on it, but I think they are like artificial colors. He was Polish, British, and the English wasn't his first language, which is something very interesting because he's regarded as one of the greatest writers in English, and he spoke English fluently after his 20s. So yeah, you can read a book. All of you can write a book. You don't need English as your first language. He became a master prose stylist who brought a non-English sensibility into English literature. So he works with realism, and he was also called a impressionist in this. I'm not sure how they compare one thing to the other one. Let me admit Ruby, who just arrived. And hello, Ruby, can you hear me? Hello, Ruby, can you use the microphone? Well, if you don't, you're speaking? Okay, it's difficult to hear you, but well. Welcome anyway, and welcome Eddie that just joined. Eddie, hello. Did you read the book? Did you like the book? I'm thinking that as no. Okay. You can use the chat if you want to. Well, a little bit about the book for the ones that didn't finish. This is a masterclass in psychology and psychological tension and atmospheric realism, which is a little bit difficult to get into because, again, it was difficult to imagine what was happening if you don't understand what happens in a ship. So Captain McWeirth studied an imaginative leader navigating the steamer Nanshan through a catastrophic South China Sea storm. So the storm is a metaphor for nature's overwhelming power. Well, not a metaphor. It was really real for them, and human resilience and duty. So we are going to talk about how we manage these type of situations. So the captain. What do you think about the captain? Can you tell me your opinion? You read the book.
Well, I think the captain was I did a little bit of research after reading the book because I didn't like understand what I had just read. But what I saw is that the captain was like a representation of calm in
Mm-hmm.
like in between the storm. And I remember that he was described by the would be the main character, I think.
Yeah,
He was
the narrator.
described as someone like who was a little bit dumb. I don't think if that
Yeah,
was the exact that wasn't the exact word he used, but he was like dumb, and he thought he was like super dumb, and that was what the reason why he was so calm. But I think that it was from the experience that he didn't give like too much importance to things. So he was like, "Oh, we are growing." Like,
yeah. It's like he
well,
was
it
in his own
happens.
words.
Yeah, it happens, and the main character or
Mm-hmm.
the narrator was like do something like why are
Yeah,
you so
no.
and the captain was like, "This is another Tuesday."
Yes, as Ruby is saying something similar, like he's a perfect example of facts over feeling. But it was strange. It was for me as he couldn't relate, like he was watching everything from outside because he stayed too calm for the situation. It was very strange, but at the same time, it was weird because sometimes I feel I'm a little bit like this. So that was that was a little bit interesting to see. So, how would you describe him? Yes, everything you said. So, he was calm. He was very rational. He was like, "Oh, yes, this is happening," but he wasn't. He didn't seem to be worried or anything. So, would you like to count on someone like this captain in a similar situation? Like, how would you feel if you're the leader of the project, everything is failing, and you have a person like this? Would you like to have this captain as the leader? You can remember you can open your mic, you can raise your hand or use the chat. I think it's a little bit difficult for him. I don't know if he was. Do you think he was good at communication?
No, I think that's the part where where well, oh my god. Well, he failed that he was calm, and I think that's exactly what I would like expect a captain to act like. But I think that he wasn't communicating like anything, and everyone was losing their minds because he wasn't like communicating at all. I think that's like his biggest mistake.
It was difficult to see what was on his mind. Um, in my day, it sounds now that I was thinking exactly the same thing. How weird. Yeah, it was a little bit like oh, like I forgot the name.
Never.
Dory. It was very Dory in that place. He literally says something like, "Yeah, everything will be fine." So it was.
But no, I think that that's exactly what I expect from someone with a lot of
Power.
experience
Okay.
in something like that's because I think like if you're a captain and you have been like most of your life, it's like you have been in this situation probably like a bunch of times. So
Okay.
it's like if I have already if I have survived like 5 times, I will survive the sixth. So I think that
Yeah, but the thing is that he didn't have experience with this kind of storms because he said, I remember at the beginning, there was supposed to be something bad was going to happen. And he was like, if we don't go the expected way and we get to the place we are supposed to be 2 days later, what am I gonna say? Like, yeah, we avoided a storm, and people are going to be like, was it a big storm? And he would be like, I don't know, I avoided it.
I wasn't there.
I wasn't there, exactly. And he said that some other captain said that. And for him, it was like, I can't allow that. I'm not going to be late and say, well, we escaped from something. I don't know if it was big or no. So at the same time, in this case, he didn't know what was gonna happen. He said like, well, we can go. I think it was a little bit irresponsible of him.
Like it was highly reckless.
Yes, it's like, yeah, sometimes ignorance, I don't know. He's right, but his way of thinking was so logical that he didn't thought like I can be afraid of facing this.
But
It could be bad. Or maybe it's not, but it could be bad. So I'm a little bit he wasn't
but
afraid.
like, was it worth it though?
No, at the end, no. Okay. Yeah, in the case of this captain, they say like he didn't have imagination. So he wasn't creative at all. So in a crisis, is it better to have a leader who is highly imaginative or someone stubbornly literal? What do you think is better to have in a moment of crisis? I think they have their pros and cons.
Yeah, I think you have to have a balance of both, because you need imagination to like think what could go wrong, but also don't think like too far what could go wrong.
Okay. Welcome to the ones who just arrived. Welcome, Jose. Remember, you can raise your hand. Yeah, like something in the middle should be okay. Like it's okay to follow all of the rules at the beginning, but if you see they don't work, maybe you should start thinking of other things, not staying in there. I think.
Yeah, I think you could say that you need to have an imagination based on facts.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Especially when it's the first time that you live something like this. It's okay to have a book, but at the same time you have to be creative. But it's a new situation. You are not going to solve it by using the same methods. Okay, let me see. Okay. I just saw that this question have a lot of complicated words. If you saw a massive storm at work or in life coming, would you take a costly detour based on a hunch? That means, would you take the risk based on what your heart says? Or stay the course until the wind actually hits your face? Or continue to do what is expected until the problem is right next to you? In simple words, because I just saw that, okay, but we just learn new idioms and new phrases.
What is a hunch?
Yeah, hunch, a corazonada. I just learned that today. Yeah.
You wanted to use that.
New vocabulary, a hunch. You can use that. Okay. So, what do you usually do? Do you take a costly detour based on a hunch? Remember, that is a risk. Do you take a risky decision, or you stay the course until the problem is like inevitable? Okay, if you don't have opinion, we start, and then you follow. You can use the chat. What do you usually do?
Well, I think that, and I think it depends on the kind of problem that I have to face.
Okay.
Because I must admit that I wait for my like personal or emotional problems to hit me on the face, and then I'm
You need
like,
the pressure.
yeah, like when everything is going out of control, it's like there. Then I pay attention to that. But when it comes to like
Yes.
important things, like in, I don't know, university or wherever,
Okay.
it's like I look like a little bit forward before the
Problem
problem.
hits.
Yeah.
Mm. I think I stayed the course, to be honest. Like, I don't think I do risky things. So I think, yeah, I actually wait the problem to hit my face because sometimes you have so many things at the same time that it's difficult to deal with all of them. So I go one at a time and I do not worry about the others. It's very weird, but I'm a little bit scared of how much I relate to this captain. It's wow. I was reading and I was answering the questions I put on this presentation, and I was like, oh my God, that's just me. That's me. Any of you related with one of the characters? Like you would have act like them? Because wow, I thought it was weird, but I would do the exact same thing.
How was the narrator called? Julius or something like that.
Oh, I don't remember he had a name.
I think it was like Julius or
If you remember if the
something like
narrator
that.
had a name or a character, you can tell us. I do not remember. Yes.
Or I don't know if the narrator like it changed in some point, or like I don't know, I didn't know what it was going on.
I don't some things were difficult to follow, to be honest. But this happened. They had 200 Chinese or coolies. They called them coolies. That was
I read about that because I didn't understand
I
why, but
googled it too about coolies because
it
I
was
think
pretty
it was,
interesting because it, well, you can read it and then we talk about the police if you want.
but it was like offensive name.
Yes, because in that time, I think it was after the abolition of slavery, but
Okay.
they were like basically lower class people that were hired to like for
Mm.
by contract, you could say, but in other countries, and they could stay like 7, 10 years working and saving money to then go back to their countries. And the thing that
Ah.
happened here that I understood after, like when I did the research, is that they were like so mad and so crazy about the
Because it
boxes
was
because
the work
it was
of years.
of like I think like 7 years or something. So
Ah.
they were like they would like
Hmm.
lose everything that they worked for like for 7 years, and they would come home empty-handed.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense now
And they
because I
would,
was like, why are they fighting for money if they are about to die? But that makes
yeah,
sense.
and they were like some kind of like legal slavery because it was like they were not slaves, but it was like
Yeah, it was
yeah.
a gray sector. Okay, so during the height of the typhoon, the 200 Chinese laborers in the hall are tossed around and their money boxes break, leading to a literal riot for gold in the dark. So McWeir's solution is to send his officers down to stop the fighting, like go there, stop the fighting, and eventually redistribute the money equally. That happens at the end. But during the typhoon, he's like, okay, go stop that fight. I can't allow to have a fight in the ship. Like that's not a good thing. If you were an officer ordered to go into a dark, dangerous room to settle a fight over money that wasn't yours, would you follow the order? Because, well, I don't know what do you think. I don't know if any of you have any experience in the army or those contexts where orders are non-negotiable. But would you have followed that order because it was very dangerous. It was a lot of people. Okay, guys, you're very quiet today, and I don't know what happened to Ricardo. Maybe it was the connection.
Oh, he's not in the meeting.
No, he's not in the meeting now, and he speaks a lot, so I'm going to ask him.
Well, I'll give my opinion.
Okay.
I think I probably wouldn't nod. I would be like, you know what? I am 1.5 meters. Like I don't think I can help too much. Also, it's like in that kind of situation, I don't know if I would be concerned about a fight in the like in the I don't know how it's
It
called.
wasn't a breach.
Yeah, it's like if I'm perfectly safe, I'm like fighting against nature. I don't want to fight against
Other-
humans too. Like I would probably say, yeah, we should take like we should do something about it, but I don't want to
someone do something about.
yeah, like please someone, not me, please.
I don't. I think my first thought is the same, but I don't know if in that situation you are thinking clearly. Maybe you want to distract, or you want to feel like you're doing something useful for the entire ship. And I don't know if I could convince myself that by doing that I'm kind of helping because it's my captain's order. So I don't know if I would want to take any decision, and I would let him take the lead. Like, tell me whatever I have to do and I'll do it. Because at that point, I'm probably going to shut down. And yeah, like, what do you want me to do?
Well, it's kind of I like that other point of view. I think it's very logical.
Like, I don't want to know. Hopefully, I won't know what I would do, because I don't want to be in a situation like this. But I think that's a possibility. The other one is like, yeah, I don't take order from you. Like, we're dying. I'm gonna spend.
Like I don't.
I'm gonna spend my last minutes. I don't know, with myself.
Respect our authority in that level.
Yes, yeah, I think that would happen. Um. Okay, this is fun because according to the book, McWirth survives the storm largely because he's too dim-witted. He wasn't intelligent enough. He wasn't smart enough to be afraid. So he lacks the imagination to realize he might die. According to what people saw, it's like people cannot understand what was happening in his mind. Do you agree? And is this feature something good? He was like, I think indifferent, or they felt like he was indifferent. Do you think he survives thanks to this feature of him?
Well, I kind of maybe think that he did because you know that I don't know anything about sailors,
Yeah.
but I know about doctors, and it's like they always tell you like you have to keep your mind cold because if you don't, like that's when things go wrong, and maybe you can see like
Okay.
people running and someone is screaming at you and telling you that you are not doing anything, and it's like you're like super calm
Okay.
in the outside,
And
and
rational.
that's basically what helps you to actually do something like useful.
Okay. Like a man who is desperate, who is really afraid, can make mistakes more easily. And at the same time, I know they were a little bit mad because he were like he wasn't there, he wasn't worried. But at the same time, every time he spoke, Jukes, that is the one that they mentioned the most, was like somehow relieved. And I guess it was because he was that way. Lack of imagination is a superpower in a storm, but it is a weakness in normal life. You know, I'm not told to have lack of imagination, but I'm often being told that I'm very Um, I just said the word in English and now I forgot it in my head. Indifferent. That I can be very indifferent. Like I don't get mad, and sometimes I don't realize what happens around me. Um, and so people have told me that that is a superpower because I never get worried. Like I go to sleep like a baby every single night, no matter what happens. So sometimes it can be a good thing. I don't know if all the time, because I don't know who would I be without being antiparabólica. They call me antiparabólica, so I don't know. Um, but yes, what you says in normal life is very strange to be like that. Yes. Hopefully, we don't have to be in a storm. I already told you my answer. I already told you my answer. So, what are the features of this character? McWeirth, El Capitan, practically the straight line that it was his focus. His strength, he doesn't panic because he doesn't see the threat, but can be dangerously rigid and lacks empathy. Like he plays by the book all the time, literally. On the other side, Jukes, that is the mate, I know. He focused on strategy and the worst case scenario. His strength is that he's prepared for the unexpected, but he can be paralyzed by what ifs. So, who are you?
I am 100% Yukes.
You're 100% Jukes.
Like in every single aspect in my life, I am Yukes.
Okay.
I wish I could be McGuire sometimes, but that's not
Yeah.
reality.
It's not easy to be McQueers.
No.
What about you guys? Ruby, you are the one interacting with us. Who are you? If you had to relate to one of these characters, I already told you, I'm McWeirth like 100%. Like, I can be flexible, of course, sometimes, but usually, yeah, I'm like this. Mm-mm. So you tell me via chat, who are you? And I think, anyhow, there is not a good answer. I think in any job or situation, maybe it's good to have both, like someone who is calm and someone who has the imagination to say, what if we do this? So,
yeah, and the what if are really important, like because if you are like too much like, well, we will like see in the way, and it's
yeah,
like then you find
nada.
then you find a lot of things in the way that you know, but also if you're too much at jokes, it's like you live in constant
Yeah.
stress and
It's
anxiety.
anxiety because you're preparing, okay, this could happen, but this could happen, but
Yeah, and it's like you're always like doing like 100 different plans, like escapes, and it's not funny.
they were a good team.
Yeah, I think that they were like the dream team.
At the end of the day, they survived. So, let's see. Ruby says, I think I'm both. That sounds very healthy. Like Dukes, I am creative and I try to prepare for the worst case scenario to avoid mistakes. But like McWeirth, when the crisis starts, I focus on the straight line. I stop imagining and I start working. Okay, good. I think the balance between imagination and practicality is the best way to survive. Yeah, I agree. In this case, they were both at extremes. Um, maybe hopefully most of us are in the middle, but I'm in the middle, but way closer to McWeirth. I can say that. No,
You should learn. We both should learn from Ruby.
yeah, yeah, we should learn from his balance. That sounds very healthy. I love this. Facing it, always facing it. It's his version of let's keep swimming, let's keep swimming. That's the way to get through. So, yes, we have to face the problem in front of us. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't think once in a while on the problem ahead, But yes, facing the problem right in front of us. So we can learn something from him, I guess. Okay. At the end of the story, they write letters. They talk about the letters they write to their family. The letters are interesting because each of the characters show a different part of the story. So Captain McWeird usually is like, nah, yeah, time's good. Like he doesn't give a lot of details. He writes a literal dry account to his wife. He mentions the wind speed and the damage to the ship, but he completely leaves out the terror, the near death experience, and the chaos. At this point, I don't know if he didn't see it, or he forgot about it, or what happens. So, what about you? When you have a hard day, do you tell your partner like the data? I was late, the meeting was long, or the feeling I felt like failure, I was scared. Like, how do you usually? I have two questions. You can answer one. Uh, or if you survive a disaster, something happened to you, would you hide the details from your family to protect them, or would you tell them everything so they truly know you? Mm, I already told you, I'm Captain Maware. You know my answers.
You know that, like, doing a quick parenthesis. I was the other day I was watching a YouTube video about, I think it was a TED Talk that was about being good at talking with people.
Okay.
And it was like sometimes you are having a conversation, but you are having two different conversations. And to like be good at talking at people, you need to know if people want a helpful conversation, or if they want an emotional conversation. So that's
Okay, like, do you want me to be empathetic or do you want me to help you solve the problem?
yeah, and that's like
I have heard about that. Like, they say that that's a little bit different among men and women, that we want to be like understood, like, ah, I understand you, yes, you're right. And often men offer a solution, like something, this happened to me, well, you can do this and this and this, and it's like,
yeah.
well, yeah, I give the data always. And if I survive a disaster, I would totally hide the details. Yes, I would. I would do it again. Like, one day I want to jump from the parachute or do crazy things, but I'm always going to tell the story that everything was okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm a bit of a jumper, so I think I do the three things. Like I tell the data, then I say how I felt, then I say every single detail.
Okay.
But when it comes to my family, I leave out the details.
The dangerous details.
Yeah, like everything that can sound even dangerous or
Yes.
suspicious, I leave it out. And like sometimes make like a very superficial
Yeah.
anecdote.
We have to edit. We have to edit
Yes,
everything.
but when it comes to someone that is not my family, I give every single detail, and I say what happened and what could have happened and how I felt and the conversation
She
that I
likes to
had.
speak a lot. So
Yeah.
be careful when you ask her how was her day. Jose, tell me.
Hi, hello, how are you?
Hello.
I think I would take the third option.
What was the third option?
I mean, I would exaggerate every detail
You would
to make the story,
exaggerate.
yes, to make the story more fun.
Okay, and add a dinosaur just for fun.
Yes, I think that many people don't tell the stories exactly like they happened. They
Yeah,
always add details and make it
I'm very
more emotionally important.
I'm very literal. I'm very literal, and sometimes I shouldn't. Even at work, sometimes you do something, and for you and for your job and for everything, sometimes you have to exaggerate. Like, this was a complete success, and people was so happy. Sometimes you have to do that, and you have to take the pictures when where everything looks like it was a 100% a success. So that is a way to exaggerate a little bit. I never do it. But yes, I have to learn that sometimes we have to edit things. And in my case, I don't want my family to say, like, are you in danger? You shouldn't go there anyway. I don't listen to them. But for me, it's easier if they think I'm doing something that is entirely safe. So, but no, for everyone, I usually keep the details for me because I don't know. I have this story in here. I should start journaling or something because I forget things. I don't tell them and then I forget. That's not useful. Then we have Jukes. He has another version. He writes a long and dramatic, Jose-like letter. He's slightly self-serving, and he wants to be seen as the hero who understood the dangers and the clueless captain didn't. This was very interesting because I saw his version and I love Jukes. He's giving me the summary of the story that I needed to fully understand what happened. But of course, he was exaggerating. So, do you think sometimes people perform their trauma to get sympathy or validation? Do you instinctively cast yourself as the only sane person in the room sometimes? Think about it when you tell a story.
You know what I'm thinking, that McGuire is like the friend that you ask him for like about a gossip, and he tells you like, well, yeah, and then they broke up. And then it's like the one that tells you,
But
and
what?
she tells him.
Yeah, I'm him. Yes, but I see this that sometimes people exaggerate their stories. I've seen them many times. Like I was there, and I'm like that wasn't like that. You're exaggerating. I don't say it, but I can tell some people like to exaggerate a little bit, and I think that is not wrong. Actually, that is perfect for social media. But at the same time, when you tell a story differently, or you exaggerate, or you become the hero of the story, I think you believe it too. So I don't think people do it on purpose. I think they believe it. They give themselves a main, like the role of the main character of the story. That is not bad. We should do that once in a while.
Well, I think people like sometimes perform their trauma, but as you said, I think it's like most. I think in most of cases, people actually believe like their version.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think that in some cases, like I think it's 100% valid to like perform your thing, because it's like you went through something, then you like you have the right to to like perform it. But I think there is like this limit where then people get too much into their trauma, and it's like they base their whole
Yeah.
personality and their whole life around it, and sometimes you see like it's not something that
Yeah.
deep, and you're like, why are you talking about this every time that I see you?
So you can spice things up, but not too much.
Yeah,
Not
it's
too much.
like
But sometimes, yeah, it could be helpful. Like if you
it's like
see, you
worn
tell the
out.
trauma how you wanted to live it, and maybe that's a way to, I don't know, to overcome
I
it.
think Jose wants to say something.
Yes, Jose, tell us.
Hi. I think that many people, after something important happens, they say that they knew it was going to happen. For example,
Yeah.
in January, some people said, "Oh, they knew it that the USA was going to come to Venezuela and did what they did."
Yeah. Yes, yes. It's true.
It's
Yeah.
like to take the to
But
be uh,
The main part.
a wise, a smart ass, and
well, if they don't exaggerate it and you don't spend too much time with those people, I think they are funny. They are funny people to talk to because since they exaggerate everything they say is like interesting, and you want to hear more, even when it's not exactly true. So we have finally the third letter, which is from Solomon, the engineer. And he writes to his wife in a sense of humor and warmth. And he focuses on the human oddities. He treats the storm as a background event to the characters on board. So, is humor a healthy coping mechanism or a way to avoiding the gravity of a situation? In that case, is positive or no? Because I have heard like characters like Chandler in Friends, they hide everything, the trauma and the bad thing, with humor. Is that really a bad thing?
This was my favorite letter actually. Um, I think it's like a very like light way to face an event
Mhm.
actually, because you are like processing it while you talk about it, and I think it's healthy actually.
Mhm. Mm. I think if that comes out naturally in you, like telling things with humors because those things were difficult or you were scared or anything, I think the body and our instincts are very wise, and that is a way you can move on with your life. It doesn't matter what happened to you, because I know right now we talk about therapy and those things, and you say, you're masking your pain. Yes, maybe that is not the healthiest solution, but I think it's healthier than living in it. I mean, it's the first attempt, you have to manage it. Then, if you have other tools, that's okay. But at the beginning, I don't think you should blame humor because it helped you. At least at the beginning, it helped you somehow. I
Yes,
don't know.
because it's like the first step is to admit that something harms you or something happened. And if you do it through humor, it's like I don't see any problem with that. Meanwhile, you have like these moments of
Mhm.
talking about it like more
Openly, more
more
honestly.
yeah, more honestly maybe, or like more see through, like not only humor, but then you have like
Mhm.
these
You go deeper
yeah,
into
you go
the.
deeper. Exactly, that's what I was looking for. You go deeper in it, and you like take the humorous side at least for a moment.
Okay. Yeah, they're all tools. So yeah, and Chandler was the favorite characters of a lot of people. So, okay, to finish. Let's see what happened in the chat. Um, I think sometimes humor is a way to avoid the gravity of the situation. I do too, but I don't know if in a negative or positive way. I think positive, for me. I don't know. I like to laugh. This is to finish. You know that McWirth's wife find his letter incredibly boring because, well, they are like the same thing. It was the weather was good. Your beloved like husband, it was meaningless, and she's more interested in her own social life and the local weather than the fact that her husband almost sank in South China Sea. So her daughter came and she's like, yeah, there is a discount on this store, let's go shopping. That's it. uh, in reality, we are, each one of us, we are the protagonists of our own life, but we are just like supporting characters or even background noise in the lives of others. So do you think sometimes we need others to understand our sacrifice to for it to feel real? Does the value of our actions reside uh, solely within ourselves? What do you think? Do we need other people to understand us or no? Mm-mm-mm. This is very funny because when Ricardo was working in here, we were talking about that. Like he said that he was like the main character of his story, and I was like, I don't know how to say in English personaje recurrente, and I'm like, I'm here every single day. How I'm not even a supporting character? It's recurrente. How's that?
The comedy relief character.
Yeah, it's like what? But what do you say? Ah, yes, Jose, tell me.
Well, I think that we are important in our own story, but sometimes we have the need to communicate for others to understand us. And
Mhm.
it could be also to help others to face similar situations.
Okay, that's a
Because
good point. Like sharing our experience can help other people because yes, we should love to like value ourselves and that's it, but actually we often want to be understood by other people. Like that's human nature. We're social animals, so we want others to share our story. And that's something I often think that it's a little bit selfish, but it's normal. Like you want to leave something on this world. Sometimes that's why we want to write a book. We want to, I don't know, leave stories like people to remind us. I don't know if that's going to make a difference after we are not here, but somehow we just want to have our print on this world. So I guess we do like to have other people's recognition.
Well, I think this is something that I think about a lot because I like to read a lot, and I see myself as the main character of my own book. So honestly see myself as someone that do things for herself. Like I don't need people to acknowledge me all the time,
Mm,
but I do like acknowledge in certain things, mostly when it's when you can obtain something by the acknowledgement. Because for example, maybe you worked really hard on something, and it's like people, even if you tell people that you work really hard, they won't like know the whole story,
yes.
but you want to know to like to them to be like conscious about it for
Yeah.
X or Y purpose.
Yes.
But I think that when you like what you should do is actually do things for yourself. I think that makes you feel much more wholesome. So yeah, I think we should
Yeah.
like relate like or the value of our actions would be reside mostly within ourselves.
I love this metaphor with the book because of two reasons. The first one is like it reminds us that only us are going to live with the consequences of our acts. So if each person, if the main character of their own book, nobody's really paying that much attention to you, which is very it relieves a lot of the pressure that sometimes we have. Other thing is that yes, only us can live with those consequences. So if you decide tomorrow to, I don't know, to change your life entirely and it doesn't go well, and you are the one living with those consequences. And when you follow the path that other people tell you to, you study what they want you to study, they work where you want you to work, you do the life they expect, but at the end of the day you are the one living that life. So I think that's important to remember. And I saw something online that I really like imagine you are the main character, you really are the main character, but if this were a book or a series or a movie, what would people be screaming at you to do? And I love that because it makes like what is very something that's very evident that you should do. What these people would be like, do this. Why don't you finally do this? So I really like that, and once in a while I remember it because yeah, sometimes we don't do things out of
Like what?
the
Well, you didn't
yeah.
see that TV show.
Which
The
one?
um, oh my god, I forgot the name. The Becoming Pretty at Summer.
Becoming pretty at some.
No, wait, what? No, my god, I love that TV show. I cannot.
Okay.
But the one with Belly and Conrad and Jeremiah.
Is it a new show?
Yeah. from
Yeah,
last
then I
year.
don't know it. The last show I saw was Friends, so.
I was
No.
going to do an analogy about the show, but I don't.
Okay, she's trying to remember the name of the show so she can recommend it to all of us. In the meanwhile, I do not have a book. I have some suggestions that I'm going to send you that are on the library, but we're missing some options because we want books that are not very long, like 100 pages long, and kind of easy to read. You know, the books that I have found easier to read are the ones that are from authors from non-English languages and then translated to English, because I don't know, I think it's easier. Tell me what.
The summer I turned pretty.
The summer I turned pretty. Okay, tell us, what was the
No,
analogy?
basically, I was going to say that you have to know which one is your Conrad in your life, because the thing is that everyone in like watching the series was like, "Well, you have to go back with Conrad," and it was like so
Okay.
obvious for everyone, and it was like
It wasn't obvious for
you have
her.
you have to define which one is your Conrad in life.
Okay. See, look at your life as you were the specter. What would you be screaming for at you? So yeah, that's what we learned today. And the other thing is nadaremos. No, it was another one. Facing it, always facing it. Well, guys, thank you for coming. Thank you for being in here. I can hear suggestions again. The features we look for in the book is that it's not super long, like around 100 pages long. That is not so difficult to read. And yeah, that is interesting. So you can recommend us book and a book that is easy to get. Like if you are telling me a book that was just released this year, it's going to be very difficult to get the PDF and everything. But just read a lot of classics, so I don't have more.
Maybe have we read in the club Metamorphosis?
No, I think that one is short.
I don't know if
No,
it's called the same in English.
I think it
Yes.
is. I have a couple
I have
that I think we can get. So yeah, but we'll listen. And I've been super busy, but after this week, after Easter, I'm going to send you 3 options and we vote via Telegram. Yes?
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming. Thank you to everyone who joined. Thank you, Ruby. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Rosa and Maria Alejandra, that is here with me today. Well, see you next time. See you in about a month. Jose, something to add?
And just to say thank you. And what happened to Ricardo?
Yeah, Ricardo had to disconnect because he received a phone call in the middle. He was connected at the beginning, but yeah, he couldn't. He had to work. See you. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
How do I end this? Okay, here.